Hello YouTubers, Alaska Prepper here. Ladies and gentlemen, before we start our first conversation of this new year, let me say Happy New Year to all of you. And let me thank every single one of you that sent me an email or a message through our website to ask me if everything was okay. Well, as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, everything is okay. And for those of you that are going to say, AP, you need to trim that beard, well, I think I'm going to go ahead and go all of 2025 without trimming it. Let's see how that pans out. It was several years ago that someone asked me, AP, when do you think that things are going to get pretty bad? And I said, I believe that they'll get at their worst between 24 and 25. Meaning last year and this year. And I do believe that we are in the midst of the fourth turning, and that there are still a few more years to go before we complete that cycle and enter into a new paradigm where things are better than they are now. Well, before we enter into that new paradigm, things will get worse, ladies and gentlemen. I know it's not what you want to hear, but it is the truth. I was having a conversation with my brother early this morning about how it's not really the person that sits behind the Resolute desk. It's the system itself that's rotten to the core. I can sit here and tell you, hey, if we got rid of the Federal Reserve, everything would be all right. But no, ladies and gentlemen, there's no easy way out. I think that's what I'm going to name this video. There's no easy way out. It doesn't matter what laws, what executive orders, what policies, DJT and acts, with or without the help of the Senate or Congress. You see, there are always going to be Adam Schiffs. There are always going to be Nancy Pelosi's, Schumer's, etc., etc., etc. But the system is what allows them to get away with the things that they get away with. It's the system that's failed, because we have failed to hold our representatives accountable, and they have used the system itself to empower themselves over that of the people. So continue to prepare, ladies and gentlemen. We can get into a whole bunch of stuff. What I want to do today is I want to just skim through a whole bunch of news articles so that we can maybe talk about a few here or there that we find interesting, because it's been so long since I've published any videos. Now, I do have a couple of prepping videos that I'm going to go ahead and publish, hopefully within the next week or so. So be on the lookout for that. Let's not take it for granted that we need to continue to be prepared. I'm telling you, when it hits us, it's going to hit us out of nowhere. And those people that are not prepared, they are going to suffer greatly. Continue to have everything that you need in your home, so that if you don't have to leave your home for a month, nothing will change. Let's say, for example, that today there was a little bubble put over your house, and everything that you had in your house is all that you can use for the next month. Do you have enough food for the next month? Do you have enough water for the next month? Do you have enough electricity backup to at least power those things that are crucial to your standard of living for the next month? Do you have the medication that you need for the next month? And having said that, ladies and gentlemen, let's say thank you to the sponsor of this video, Jase Medical. Jase Medical, ladies and gentlemen, putting it short, is going to provide you with whatever emergency antibiotics you may need for a time in which you cannot allocate them for whatever reason. If you are on some kind of prescription medication for a chronic illness, go check out their website. You may be able to get a 12-month supply that you can rotate through and always have a year's supply in addition to what your regular doctor prescribes you. I always have a code where you can save some money if you decide to purchase from them. This is what being prepared is. It's being able to continue to have a standard of living that is adequate for you and your family during those times where you cannot get the things that give you that standard of living that you enjoy. And for those of you that think that I'm putting out gloom and doom because I'm telling you that you need to be prepared, it's not gloom and doom. It's reality. Take a look at the world and take a look at everything that's happening. Government, ladies and gentlemen, will never be there to make you whole or to take care of you when the time comes and it really counts. So make sure that you're planning to take care of yourself. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go over to the Hedge, Zero Hedge, which is one of my news sources, and we're just going to skim over some of these articles. I'm not going to go in depth into it because there's really just so much to talk about. And after today's video, where we pretty much catch up with what's going on in the news, I'll try to put out 1 or 2 videos a week, taking a look at what's going on like I have in the past. Palisades Inferno forces more evacuations and burns near 405 freeway. I'm sure that you all know what's going on with these fires that are occurring over there in Los Angeles, California. And what do we have to say about that? I mean, mismanagement is the first word that comes to mind. Let's see, all of these fires have scorched over 27,000 acres. 12,000 structures, ladies and gentlemen. 11 lives have been lost so far, and more than 150,000 people evacuated. Why? Mismanagement of their forest area, I guess you can say, or their wooded areas, and also mismanagement of their fire department and also their budget. And it's very unfortunate that the average person is the one that has to pay the price for this. As bad as DEI is, what's worse is the political class that initiates DEI policies. You know why? In my opinion, it's worse because that political class that initiates the DEI policies, they don't have to put up with the consequences of those policies themselves. I saw an article or a news clip somewhere that said that the mayor of Los Angeles, while all of these fires are going on, was diverted from the vacation that she was taking in Ghana. What was she doing in Ghana, ladies and gentlemen, when all of these fires were going on, devastating her constituents? Well, it's because they weren't affecting and did not affect her directly. It's not her house that went up on fire, so why should she care about you? The only time that these politicians care is a time when they have to raise taxes and they have to take more from you than what you're already giving, so that they can misallocate those resources to where it should not be going. Why? Because it's not going to matter to them anyway. It's not their house. Bird flu cases detected across Delmarva poultry industry. This marks the first case of H5N1 at a Maryland commercial poultry. I didn't even know that eggs were going back up in price. Someone that I met over the last week said that, man, I went to the store to get eggs and there weren't even any eggs there. I'm like, really? I haven't been to the supermarket in a while. And they're like, no, there's no eggs there. And I'm like, I wonder what's going on. And then they told me that it was this flu that's going on. Again, I haven't looked at the news for a while now, but this is escalating. Ladies and gentlemen, if you know about this now, take care of it now. If you have chickens, I have chickens. I haven't really bought any eggs for almost the last 2 years. I had to buy a little bit there for about a month or so when they were in their phase where they weren't laying, where they were taking a break. They were on strike for like a month, right? However, other than that, we haven't had to buy any eggs for like the last 2 years. If you have extra eggs, then you know what to do. Go ahead and freeze dry them if you can. Go ahead and turn them into powder. Package them up in a way that they will be preserved for the next several years so that you can have them. You can even freeze them. You can crack your eggs, put them in a Ziploc bag, freeze them, and then when you need to use them, let them thaw out, scramble them up, and eat them. There's a lot of ways that you can put away eggs. If you want to buy freeze-dried eggs that'll last you 25 years or more, check out my link with Nutrient Survival. There are excellent freeze-dried eggs that taste like eggs, but are also infused with the vitamins and minerals that you need every day. Yes, I did plug Nutrient Survival because I think they're a great company and they sell an outstanding product. Sub-zero temperatures are forecast in more than 35 states over the next 2 weeks, and I am sure that this is all due to global warming. The warm air is rising up into the northern part of the world and is forcing down the cold air. It's your fault. It's because of global warming that the earth is getting cooler. Well, ladies and gentlemen, get prepared, because these cycles, they happen over and over and over again. Maybe not in our lifetimes, but geologically speaking, these cold and hot cycles, these high CO2, low CO2 cycles, they happen over and over again through thousands of years, tens of thousands, millions of years. They've been happening. So they're going to happen again. We're going to be having more and more erratic weather conditions as time goes on. Why? Because it's part of this cycle. And they can blame it on anything they want, but they're choosing to blame it on you because that's the only way that they can get more taxes from you in the form of carbon taxes, so that these billionaires and multi-hundred millionaires can go ahead and trade carbon credits in the open market to become even richer. Take a look into that if you haven't heard about the trading of carbon credits that these like EV companies do. Alright, so in order not to make this video too long, I figure we can finish it with this. This looks pretty interesting. The average U.S. household budget in one chart. Let's see. This chart shows what the average U.S. household budget looks like by tracking where all income goes to, including expenditures, savings, and taxes. Without having taken a look at this chart, even now I haven't taken a look at it, I can see it with my peripheral vision, I would say that most of their spending goes to needs instead of wants. But let's see. Based on the average household income in the United States, $328 a month goes to eating out. I would say that that's a want. You don't have to eat out, and I would recommend that you don't eat out if you can't afford it. Go to the store, buy some food, some whole foods that you can use to make your own meals, ladies and gentlemen. Buy one ingredient foods, like rice is a one ingredient food, even though it's not really that good for you, but potatoes are a one ingredient food, beef is a one ingredient food. Get some spices, make your own meals. Healthcare, $513. Entertainment, another want. So right now the wants are winning over the needs. Pension and insurance, that in my opinion is a need. However, I wouldn't be putting it in a paper asset like a 401k or a bond or a stock. I would be putting it in, I'm not a financial advisor, gold and silver. Housing is not a want, it's a need. Transportation is a need. However, you don't have to go out and get what your average used car note is in the US today, which is I think $548 a month is your average US car note. The average new car note is just shy of $800 a month. You don't have to do that. However, I do know that car insurance is pretty darn expensive, and gasoline is still averaging, at least here in Alaska, a little bit over $3 per gallon. So this transportation, it is a need. Savings, you should be putting money in savings. I'm surprised that the average person even has money in savings. You should have some kind of an emergency account, right? But I would caution those of you that have more in savings than what you need, that you should take that excess wealth that you have, I'm not a financial advisor, and put it into things like, number one, get prepared with everything that you need in order to not have to leave your house for a month or two or three, etc. Then after that, go ahead and make sure that you have that excess wealth put away in precious metals. And I'm not advocating for this, but even a little bit of Bitcoin / cryptocurrencies as well can't hurt. Diversification, ladies and gentlemen. Groceries, $504 on groceries. That's actually pretty amazing. Now, is this the average family or the average person? It says the average household. Wow, I can't believe that the average household is only spending $504 on groceries, all right? But this must be a cumulative average. $790 on miscellaneous spending, $1,161 on taxes. I'm assuming that this $790 on miscellaneous spending would probably be like your light bill, all right? Like your cable, your internet, your phone, etc. So the total spending for the average family in the U.S., ladies and gentlemen, is $8,484. Now, I remember when I was pretty young and my life was just starting out with Mrs. Alaska Prepper and just Victor at that time, I used to make, I think it was like 17 bucks an hour. And if I brought home 700 bucks on a paycheck, that was like a huge deal. Like, oh my goodness, $700 you made this week? That's huge. But you take that 700 and multiply it times 4, that's 2,800. That's about 1/3 of what this is. So how times have changed. If you are retired, if you are on a fixed income, you will understand what I'm talking about. And that is that inflation affects those that are poor, that live paycheck to paycheck, and that are on a fixed income the most. If you're on a fixed income, you can count on one thing, and that is that fixed income will never go up faster than what inflation goes up. So you have to plan ahead now. Get stocked up, ladies and gentlemen. I know that this year's sale prices are last year's regular prices, but next year's prices, in my opinion, they will be higher than this year's prices, whether Donald Trump is in office or not. It's all mathematics. Eventually, we will have a stock market crash that will equal that of or be worse than the stock market crash of 1929. It's just a cycle. And unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, eventually we will be put into some kind of war somewhere else around the world where our children will be asked and hopefully not forced to participate in. Why? It's just a cycle. So get prepared and don't forget to live your life, because that's what we're here for. Life is not just about preparing and being scared about the future. Life is supposed to be lived, enjoy it, and then the prepping should be in the background. Having said that, thank you very much to all of you that were still using my links and stuff throughout the few weeks that I took off of YouTube. I truly do appreciate every bit of your support, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much from the bottom of my heart. We will talk later on. Hopefully the next video that I put up will be a short prepping video on some things that I think you need to consider getting right now before they become unavailable or they're just too expensive to get. God bless every one of you. God bless America. I'm Alaska Prepper. I'm out. I'll finish the video by sharing with you these beautiful pictures of auroras that were happening in the backyard of my property on the 1st of this new year. Happy New Year's, and God bless every one of you.